about BIR enforcement. Like there's certain tax offices that tend to be more aggressive than others. So like in South Asia, when people think of like a really aggressive tax offices, I think everybody thinks about India because they do some quite interesting things. Also, Indonesia can be quite aggressive. In the greater scheme of things, what is your experience with enforcement from the BIR? Are they pretty aggressive? Do they welcome negotiation? Are they reasonable when you approach them with certain things? Do they play hardball, take things to court? What is your experience? What is your general perspective?
Well, generally, PIR is aggressive,
Okay.
especially nowadays. But some of some of our dealings with them, there are some, like for example, during an assessment or audit, some of the findings are refutable. They are up for negotiation as long as you are there are full documentation available. So as long as there are full support, invoices, ORs,
Mhm.
contracts, etc., then everything else will be refutable and will be negotiable. So, but they are aggressive.
So you're saying that it's super important. Yes, they're really aggressive now because, of course, like most countries in the world, especially post the pandemic, money is an important issue. There are holes in balance sheets to be plugged. So I think everybody's picked up the pace. So you're saying like it's very important now to make sure you have your official receipts, you have your contract, you engage in proper record keeping in
Yes,
order to
yes,
be able to answer questions as quickly and as accurately as possible.
yes. Compliance is always important here in the Philippines. So
Mm.
that's one of the things that one was who wanted to establish or set up a business here in the Philippines must consider full compliance with the tax rules and regulations.
Okay. And what about, the people who come to Philippines has traditionally attracted people who would describe themselves as digital nomads. So these are people who are basically freelancers. So they're able to work independently. They may not even be employees to any company. They just may be independent contractors. They get like a short project to do. They do the project, they hand it over, and that's it. So, yeah, and you see a lot of them. Well, at least I haven't really been back and moved around since the pandemic. But before the pandemic, you had all these co-working spaces in Manila and Cebu, and you go in and you see people from all over the world doing projects for clients from all over the world as well. So if someone is spending a lot of time in the Philippines, so that let's say they spend more than 183 days, so they may be considered tax resident, and they are freelancers, but they are working from these co-working spaces, they're working from, their Airbnb or whatever accommodation they may have in the Philippines. Would they be taxable in theory on that income? Should they be considering paying taxes to the Philippines on that income? And if so, how would they go about registering themselves as freelancers and independent contractors?
Um, as to the co-working spaces, I'm not sure if there is a specific ruling if
Mm.
the co-working spaces would be considered as a foreign uh, establishment or what. But at least at the minimum, the any resident or any alien or any foreigners who work here in the Philippines for more than 180 days is required or is considered already engaged in business and
Mhm.
trade here in the Philippines and is required to file tax returns and pay the dues or pay the tax dues that is uh, based on the income he or she earned here in the Philippines.
Mhm.
So, of course, he or she still needs to register
Mhm.
as a business here or as a professional here in the Philippines. So that is a little tricky as some of the professionals do not really stay here for long or they may have stayed here for more than 180 days, but they are not usually here for a year. So
Mm.
that's one tricky thing that is still I think it's a gray area. But if you will follow the rules. So strictly speaking, then the foreign national who is engaged in trade or business here in the Philippines must file an income tax return
Mhm.
here in the
Mhm.
Philippines.
Okay. Yeah, and it is the same for most of the jurisdictions across Southeast Asia. Yes, you may have a visa that allows you to stay, and therefore you may, and actually be tax resident according to the rules because you've done the time. But then if you say, hey, I want to do the right thing, I am working remotely from this country, so I want to register and pay my fair share. The process for doing that can be, as you said, quite challenging, and it's not very straightforward at all. Okay. But I want to go back to another point you raised previously, that you said that the BR is becoming more aggressive. So are you seeing more of a specific type of enforcement action? And what specifically are they looking at now that they perhaps didn't pay that much attention before? Or is it just everything? They're looking at everything. Or are they like focusing on, let's say, the top three things that they seem to be more sensitive about right now than they were previously?
I guess it's still corporations. They are still focused
Hmm.
on corporations, and then as to professionals, they are being encouraged by the VIR to comply with the tax rules and regulations. But I think for most of the professionals or um, sole proprietors who had been on their threshold for audit, um, those who are high income earning individuals, they're one of those uh, audit targets by the DRR. But for the small freelancers, I don't think the DRR has yet um, focused on them.
It's all about corporations right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Understood.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.